The main event of Survivor Series is going to be a quite long match because it's the traditional Elimination Survivor Series match. Team Cena versus Team Authority. We've got on Team Cena, John Cena, Ryback, Big Show, Dolph Ziggler, and Erick Rowan out of fucking nowhere. Versus Team Authority of Seth Rollins, Rusev, Luke Harper, Mark Henry, and Kane. So we can go through and see who's going to get eliminated by who, but we don't have to do that or whatever. So anybody have any predictions of the order of the eliminations or anything like that they want to throw out there before we just talk about generic specifics about these matches?
Big Show's gonna be eliminated first.
By who?
I bet they gang up on him before the match starts. They just, like,
By Seth Rollins.
Hey, that guy's on my team.
And there's 2 sole survivors on the team's gonna be Cena and Seth.
Well,
Okay.
then who wins the match?
Team Authority.
So now they announced that if Team Authority loses, they are out of power. If Team Cena loses, all of them are fired.
Oh, did they?
Yep.
Oh, in that case, then Cena's team wins.
Yeah, that stipulation kind of makes it seem like it's pretty obvious that they're going to win, to me, at the very least. Because WWE is really hurting on the roster right now, and they can't afford to have these 5 guys not show up for even 2 weeks. Let alone for, a month or however long they want to plan out, that kind of a thing.
You give them way too much credit.
Hmm?
Don't you remember the last time that John Cena got fired?
He was still gone for
What
a
was
week.
that, the Juan Cena thing?
He was gone for a week, if you could even count that, because he was still there at the end of the show.
Yeah, but see, they can't have the people not wrestle. Who the hell's going to wrestle on Raw?
They don't have to have people wrestle. They could have 3 15-minute long authority segments.
That's terrible.
I'm serious. They do it all the fucking time.
If they do that, that'll be a fucking awful episode of Raw. And then they would deserve all the bad numbers that they would get. And then you could guarantee that our Raw post-show is not going to be talking about wrestling, that's for sure. But
I'm not watching it for their matches.
I wish we could have Sami Zayn and Adrian Neville and everybody up now instead of down in NXT.
Yeah.
Christ. This roster sucks dick. I've never seen a weaker roster.
Go back to like
You've never seen
1995.
Well, 05, they were before they had Batista,
95.
Cena. Oh, 95. I wasn't watching in 95.
it's like
Who was
Jacob and
born in
Eli
1987
Lou.
was better.
Nobody was.
I was born in
You have like Freddie Joe Floyd in the middle ground.
Barry Horowitz, Thurman Sparky Plug. Or was he
Spark-
Spark Plug Bob Holly by that point?
No, I think he was still Sparky Plug.
Yeah, and he was like one of their like star mid-carders too. Marty Jannetty was still hanging around, and
Marty Jannetty's awesome. Hall of Famer, but Shawn Michaels was the Marty Jannetty in that team. Oh.
Marty Jannetty's got a better chance of being in the Hall of Fame right now than Del Rio. That's just look at from that. Yeah, 95 was really bad. It's a shame too, because they 94 wasn't bad. 96 was decent for the most part.
Was 95 the year when everybody jumped ship to WCW?
No,
Yeah.
that was 96. Well, that was 1994 and 1996, technically. 95 actually wasn't much of anybody.
Yeah, because they didn't really have anybody yet.
Yeah.
The only people that they had were Razor, Diesel, Michaels. Brett wasn't even really hanging around a whole lot in 95, wasn't he?
I think 95 was when he was doing something. I think he was doing.
That TV show, the Cowboy thing?
Yeah. No, that was after he lost the title. He did that. I don't remember what he was doing in 95. Oh, that was wasn't that when Diesel was champion? So Brett was just kind of like pushed on the sidelines. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Ugh, that was terrible.
Bad year.
Yeah, very bad year.
Pretty bad year when you know that Bam Bam Bigelow and Lawrence Taylor headline your pay-per-view for your best pay-per-view of the year. Awful. Did have Pam Anderson and Jenny McCarthy in it though. That was a plus.
Hey.
So
Those are some fit birds.
for this Survivor Series team, something that's on my mind is if Team Cena wins, how do they knock out Rusev? Count out, disqualification?
Easy DQ.
Which one of the two, though? That's the thing. Do they have him brawl with somebody and get counted out, or do they have him get disqualified because he went over the limit and didn't listen to the ref or something like that?
That one.
DQ is a lot better for keeping his mean streak up, but a count out is a lot simpler and easier for people to understand. So sometimes they go with that route. Like they did the count out thing with Jack Swagger in that match. So they're not above making him lose from a count out. And he's clearly not going to get pinned. He's not going to submit. But one thing that I could see happening right here is if they don't really give a shit about showcasing Luke Harper, Mark Henry, and Kane, because we know that Seth Rollins is going to get at least something that he does in this match. But I could see Rusev knocking out Big Show, Dolph Ziggler, and Erick Rowan, and having this be John Cena and Ryback versus Team Authority. And then they kind of fight their way back. They knock out, Rusev gets eliminated because of a DQ. Then John Cena gives the AA to Luke Harper, and they pin him, and Ryback knocks out Kane and Mark Henry, and now suddenly it's, I could see them doing that kind of bullshit. I really hope they don't, though. I don't want this to just become the Rusev show. Would anybody be happy with that?
This is a Rusev show. This is a Rusev show. I think you guys need to start really taking seriously the things that I have been telling you for some time now, and that is that Rusev is a big deal.
I've never disagreed with you.
Mm-hmm. Rusev is a big, big deal, and I think he is going to be a big player in the next number of years.
I mean, he did have a segment with The Rock, so I think that's pretty big.
You still don't think that they're just going to get tired of him after he loses?
Who says he's going to lose?
I can't imagine them keeping this going for years.
We'll see. People have complained about their inability to concentrate and build a star, and here they are doing it with one. And, whether people want to argue it or not, I think this guy's got the chops. He's got the character. He's got this smoking hot woman along with him.
I've never seen
this guy's
him do
got
a
all
chop.
the tools.
That was pretty lame.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, Wago, what do you think is going to go on in this match? Who's eliminating who? Who's winning the match? How are they going to deal with the Rusev problem if Team Cena wins? What's going on?
I have no idea who's going to get eliminated and how. Big Show being eliminated first wouldn't surprise me. As far as who wins this whole match, I think John Cena's going to... Wait, no. The stipulations that... No, Triple H is winning. Team Triple H is winning, and I'm changing my mind.
You think that they're going to have the people fired?
Oh, that got added? When the fuck did that get added?
I just mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, just got added on SmackDown. What? It's so stupid.
Okay, originally I thought it was going to be Team Authority winning, but if that's the case, fuck, yeah, Team Cena wins. They're not going to fire Cena. I mean, I know they did it before, but there's a lot of people to fire.
I really think they've just added this just to throw us off.
I have the whole Ziggler turning heel in my predictions until...
Dude, anybody could. Anybody on that team could turn heel. I would totally expect that to happen. I think this is just way, way too obvious of a thing to put in there to be like, oh, well, I guess Cena's team is winning. Oh, well, lol, Cena wins again. There is something up here. I cannot believe there's any way that the Authority loses at this pay-per-view.
I bet Erick Rowan turns heel or something.
Maybe. I would hope for something a little more creative than that, but yeah, we'll see.
What would you hope for if you were planning this? Or at least if you think that what WWE would do?
Well, story-wise, I guess it would be Ryback. That's the guy they've been featuring a lot lately, but he's been getting a lot of good babyface heat, too. People are getting really behind him.
Is it worth the sacrifice just for, okay, that's why they won.
Mm-hmm.
And then, well, now we got to boo Ryback again.
Honestly, who would have been the perfect person? Sheamus.
I would have been totally down
Sheamus
for that.
would have been the perfect guy to do that with. And now he's not even in the fucking match.
Yeah, I would have been totally down for that because Sheamus needs a heel turn bad.
And he would fit right in with the Authority. You know, there's that whole thing about how the only reason he's been around is because he's Triple H's workout buddy. Play into that.
You almost said
Like-
buddy, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been a
You
good.
didn't deny it.
It would have been a good rationalization for it. And Sheamus is really bland. He's not getting over really that well, or at least he has gotten over as well as he's going to as a
He's-
babyface.
And let's face it, he's kind of been developing like a heel look.
A little bit, yeah. He's getting a little bit more like messy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's fucking ugly.
That would have been real. I would have been totally up with that if they would have had Sheamus turn. Even though I don't like Sheamus and I wouldn't want him to be pushed to the moon after that, that would have been something that I would have been fine with.
He doesn't have to be. He could just be another, cog in the Authority wheel.
You know what else is kind of curious here? Unless they throw him in somewhere as like a bathroom break thing or something like that. They did throw Cesaro into the mix a little bit, but he's not on any of the teams. So
There was a segment that probably nobody saw. It was on SmackDown where Kane was out giving a speech about needing people to be, play to the right side, and Cesaro comes out and is like, "Hey, I'm ready to be a player for the Authority and all that." But
for this
Yeah.
week's SmackDown?
no, I think it was the previous weeks. It was the one right before he came out and did that trick on John Cena.
I could see this going another way.
What's that?
The referee takes a bump, and the Stooges and Seth Rollins are all ganging up on Cena, and then Randy Orton goes out of the crowd. RKO Seth Rollins, so John Cena gets the pin.
Yeah, you know what? That would be a way to reintroduce Randy Orton and go right into the Seth Rollins thing again. I could see that happening too.
Seth, suck me off, Rollins.
It would have to be interfering against Seth Rollins, though. I mean, he couldn't do anything to any of the other members of the team. He's not going to be the reason that Rusev gets eliminated or anything like that. It would have to be at the end. Yeah, I could see that happening. So if you had to pick, who would you want the survivors on, whatever team that you would want to win, who would it be? Like, who should get that little bit of a rub from winning the Survivor Series team? Roman Reigns was a sole survivor last year. Other people have gone to be sole survivors and had a good career after that. I mean, Randy Orton did that multiple times. The whole thing with The Rock, his first match was Survivor Series, and he was one of the survivors in that. Do you think this is a good spot for a Ryback to be, like, the person who wins for Team Cena and Cena even loses? Or does Cena have to stay on there and then maybe some other person is alongside him? Or is it just John Cena that wins because fuck everybody else? Or do you give that extra rub to Rusev and have him beat everybody? What do you guys think? Who wants to tag in?
You would want to rub Rusev.
Not really in the mood for some potatoes.
Alright, as far as who I think should come out looking the strongest in this match and who they should really try and get over, I think it's got to be Seth Rollins, because as much as they've given him, to me at least, he's not really coming across as someone that fits into that main event role. He always feels awkward and out of place to me, so cement him in this match as the guy.
But not
Yeah.
the guy.
Yeah. Not the big guy, huh? So, sole survivor on the team, or does anybody stick with him?
Soul.
Peyton, who do you think should be the sole survivors, or the survivors period, or what do you think? What would you do?
If we go with the scenario I was saying before, where someone turns and causes the last person to get eliminated, if it had to be anyone pinning him, I guess it would be Seth Rollins. I mean, he's the team captain. He's the guy they've been putting a lot of focus on. He was a part of the most important storyline the past number of months between him and Dean Ambrose. So there's really no one else to have get it. Like I said, I would have Rusev get eliminated, but it would be via the disqualification. I guess you could have Mark Henry eliminated. I would have Mark Henry get eliminated as like one of those, oh snap, it's a big problem for the Authority now being without Mark Henry. Oh my gosh, how will they overcome that? Who else is on their team? Kane, yeah, he can be eliminated.
and Luke Harper.
I would maybe have Luke Harper stick around. Yeah, I would have Luke Harper see that as like, I was a team player.
It is so awkward when he just puts his head closer to the mic. I'm a team player. Yeah, Luke.
Michael.
Here's a cracker. Just like, go away. Drew, who would you pick to be the sole survivors or anything else like that?
If I had to pick a sole survivor of Team Cena, I'd have to go with the big guy. Ryback. For obvious reasons, they've been like centering this whole feud around him and as him being the guy that should change the odds for either teams if he were to join it. I think Rusev needs to look somewhat strong. He should be in the match for at least a little bit. I do think he'll either get counted out or disqualified, or maybe just he gets pissed off with the authority and just walks out on them. So they could do something like that. So I think if you're going to have a sole survivor, it'd have to be Ryback. Will they do that? I don't know. I feel like, if anything, the most shocking thing they could do with this now that Team Cena will get fired is if Cena actually gets eliminated. And if I actually put trust in that? I don't think so. So I think there'll be Team Cena. For Team Cena, it'll be Ryback and Cena as the survivors.
And Sean, what would you go with here? Who would you have as sole survivors?
Sole survivor for Team Cena, I would have picked Dolph Ziggler. Because, Ziggler is the underdog and all that shit. And he eliminates all the Team Authority.
Every last one of them?
Every single one of them. And the last one left on their team is Seth Rollins.
So how would you book Rusev in that situation?
Rusev has a heart attack coming down the ring.
He has a good point.
Yeah, I'd watch that.
I can't deny that I'd be interested if that happened. That is true. All right, well, that rounds out all of our talk for the Survivor Series pay-per-view. Make sure you guys pay attention to the live coverage that we're going to be doing on smarkoutmoment.com. Chat alongside us in the little sidebar chat. Pay attention to those Bleacher Report articles that I'm going to be writing up as well. And next week, we'll do the whole rundown of the review of the pay-per-view and tell you what we think about all these matches and any other matches that they decide that they are going to add at the last minute. We have one more thing to do on this episode of Smack Talk, and that is the Fantasy League. So click on that next video, stay tuned, and it's time for some trades.